Flag is raised, he calls them in, and they are away and racing in the Moors Metal PPORA Club Members Conditions race. Making their way on towards the first, Attila de Civila and Roevin Star, 1 and 2, then back to Sergeant Brody, and behind them Soldier's Hour. So 4 of them making their way along the far side. Roevin Star has jumped up to the lead now, who leads by a length and a half from Attila de Civila. Similar distance back to Sergeant Brody, and then 2 lengths behind them comes Soldier's Hour, just the back marker at this point. So across the brook and into the far right hand side of the course, as they come to the next, it's Roevin Star on the inner from Attila de Civila, and then Sergeant Brody, and then just a couple of lengths back to Soldier's Hour, who continues just to be the back marker of the 4 as they vanish behind the hedge. Coming back into view now, Roevin Star is being joined by Sergeant Brody. Roevin Star in the blue on the inner, Roevin and Sergeant Brody in the red on the outer, and then Attila de Civila on the extreme inside the grey, and still back marker at this point is Soldier's Hour. So as they come back towards us, and come to what will be 2 from home in another 2 circuits time, coming into the wings of it, and Sergeant Brody on the outer, Roevin Star on the inner, little to call between those 2, then Attila de Civila and Soldier's Hour, who's come up to take far closer order of those leading 3. So over what will be the final fence in 2 circuits time, Sergeant Brody in the red on the outer for Laura Richardson is just challenging for the lead at the moment. Roevin Star continuing to lead for Henry Crow and the colours of the Garton family as they make their way towards the next. All 4 of them safely over that. Roevin Star has gone to the lead, and Attila de Civila, Soldier's Hour, just look to be taking far closer order of Sergeant Brody on the extreme left as we look at them. They begin to swing right-handed now, and Roevin Star has been joined now by Attila de Civila for Toby Wynne, and then back to Captain Brody, or Sergeant Brody, and Soldier's Hour, the back 2 at this point. So going on, Roevin Star for Henry Crow. Henry rode this horse to victory at Tabley a couple of weeks ago. As they come into the wings of it, it's still Roevin Star, Sergeant Brody, Attila de Civila, very little to call between them, and Soldier's Hour coming up to take far closer order of them. Coming to the next, Sergeant Brody, Soldier's Hour, Attila de Civila, and they've just relegated Sergeant Brody and Laura Richardson to be back marker, but only 3 lengths at this point separate the entire field. All of them over the next, still Roevin Star from Attila de Civila, and then Soldier's Hour, and the back marker Laura Richardson and Sergeant Brody, but again still only 3 lengths, all of them travelling very nicely together as they make their way to the extreme far side of the course. Over the next, all of them safely over it as they vanish out of view, still Roevin Star, Attila de Civila, Soldier's Hour, and then Sergeant Brody. So back into our view they come, and still Roevin Star continuing to lead. Sergeant Brody's made up ground again on the outer, and Attila de Civila and Soldier's Hour just slightly behind those 2, but again still only a couple of lengths separating the field at this point as they come towards fence number 11 of the 19 obstacles in this race. So coming to that one, Roevin Star and Henry Crow land length and a half clear of Attila de Civila for Toby Wynne, and then Soldier's Hour for Billy Chatterton, and then Sergeant Brody and Laura Richardson just the back marker. So over what will be the final fence in another circuit's time, Roevin Star continues to lead by a length from Attila de Civila on the outer, Soldier's Hour half a length behind, and then back another length and a bit to Sergeant Brody, who continues just to be the back marker, but only 4 lengths currently separating the field as they've jumped the next. Sergeant Brody being pushed along a little bit at the back of the field, and they begin to swing right-handed. As they do, Roevin Star by a length from Attila de Civila. Half a length behind him comes Soldier's Hour, and 2 lengths back to Sergeant Brody, who's making up ground again on the outer. Sergeant Brodie coming up to challenge for third at the moment. I'm currently just passing Attila de Civola. So as they come down towards the ditch now, Roevin Star is going to lead the 4-strong field into it from Sergeant Brodie and Attila de Civola. There's very little to call between those two, and then they go back some 4 or 5 lengths to Soldier's Hour, who is currently the back marker. So over the next, the 4 of them safely over it, and Roevin Star has opened up a 3-length lead over Attila de Civola, and then Sergeant Brodie, and back some 4 lengths then to Soldier's Hour, currently the back marker. So they make their way now across the brook. It's now Roevin Star, who's length and a half clear of Attila de Civola, who's half a length clear of Sergeant Brodie, and then some 3 or 4 lengths back to Soldier's Hour, who's currently the back marker. So taking final fence on the far side, fence number 17, and swinging right-handed, Roevin Star is going to lead them out of view from Attila de Civola, and then Soldier's Hour is currently the back marker as they disappeared out of our view, and they reappear back into sight. Still Roevin Star, who's gone 3 lengths clear at the front of the field for Henry Crowe, and then back behind them come Attila de Civola on the inner, and Sergeant Brodie on the outer, and Soldier's Hour at the back of the field. So the 3 front running or leading horses now coming towards what's 2 from home. As they come to it, Roevin Star is going to land 4 lengths clear of Attila de Civola, and then back to Sergeant Brodie and Soldier's Hour, and still the back marker. So coming to the final fence, Roevin Star and Henry Crowe are going to extend their advantage. Henry Crowe riding on now. Henry Crowe riding Roevin Star by some 7 or 8 lengths clear. Roevin Star going to take this one, and it's going to be very tight between Sergeant Brodie and Attila de Civola, and then back to Soldier's Hour at the back of the field.